Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. And today we're going to be talking about Chris Dugdale. Now, if you don't know who Chris Dugdale is, he is one of the most successful close-up magicians in the world. I mean, he has literally been there, done that, bought the t-shirts over and over again. And I did a Talk Magic interview with him a little while ago. If you haven't seen the Talk Magic interview, I highly recommend that you do. Chris breaks down his career, the highs and the lows, talks about how he got into magic, where he is right now. It's a fascinating interview. It's well worth listening to. Well, Chris has brought out a new book, and it's called XYA. And he brought it out a little while ago. And it's flown under a lot of people's radars. And I'm a big, huge book fan. I love reading magic books. I also love reading books about the business, about running a business and about marketing and that side of things. And this book is actually combining the best of both. So it's got some incredible magic in it. And I mean incredible, really incredible commercial magic. And I think that's the key thing, commercial magic. But as well as having that, it's also got loads of anecdotes, loads of stories, and actually loads of advice on how to become a better magician and how to make more money as a magician. So the book has got everything from my point of view. And there's also some really interesting innovations that you have with the book to help the person learn the routines quicker. And I'll get into that when I'm actually reviewing it. But as with all of the review show specials, it's going to start off with an interview with Chris. So I did a bit of an interview with Chris, a separate interview to when I interviewed him on Talk Magic. We talk specifically about this book. We talk about the routines in the book, why he put the book together, what he hopes people will get out of the book, and why it's worth buying, why it's worth your time. So I'm going to run that interview first of all, and then when I've run the interview, we'll come back into the studio and I'll perform a couple of the routines out of the book and I'll give it a review. So I am here with Chris Dugdale. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, great, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you once again for coming on the channel. I really, really appreciate it. I really do.
Very well. Thank you for inviting me back.
No, I'm so glad. I mean, you know, we're filming this. Things are getting back to normal where you are, when I am. I know you just said off camera you had multiple shows this weekend, so everything's busy for you. So thank you. Thank you for finding time.
You're very welcome.
And I'm here specifically, let me go and grab it, to talk about XYA. And I'm not going to ruin the review because I'm going to review it after this little conversation. But I have to say, this is amazing. Like, I've got a huge library. I'm sitting here, I'm looking over at a ton of bookshelves. I've got a load of books. And this is one of the best magic books I've ever read. And it's because it's not just about the magic. It's not, although there's some killer magic in there, and we'll talk about this in a minute, and there is some killer magic in here. It's not just about the magic, is it? It's about you as a performer. It's about your journey. It's about some, there's some interesting stories, some flashbacks. You've obviously got some killer tricks in there, but then you've got advice, and you've got some really well-worded essays on what I like to think is the real secrets of magic, which is kind of how you actually don't just get by with magic, but how you can be very successful with magic like you have done throughout your whole career. In fact, you've given away so much, like more than I would have expected someone to give away. So I suppose the question I've got is, what made you write this book? Because the secrets in this book, outside of the secrets of the tricks, the stuff that you're putting in the essays, this is the stuff that you've used to get to the position where you are right now as a performer. You didn't have to give it away. What was the reasoning for putting this?
As you know, I do genuinely want to help people if I can. You know, some people, like the advice, some people don't, and that's absolutely fine with me. I think it's really important to remember at the end of the day, you're Craig Petty, I'm Chris Dugdale, so nobody can be me and nobody can be you. So it doesn't really harm anybody, a rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. So if people get really good information, which is what I wanted to give them, I wanted to over exceed expectations with this project. And it's part business manual. There are genuinely some really, as you know, there's some killer tricks in there. And it's part motivational as well. And I strongly do believe that the real magic is not in the tricks. you know. And so if people can take that, interpret it their way and integrate it into their unique personality, then everybody wins, because it raises the bar for the art of magic.
For sure. And you know, you use the word motivational there, and it really is. But I don't want people reading this thinking it's like some book that goes rah rah rah. It's motivational in a way that you read what you've accomplished and what you've done and how simple it is. And it kind of makes you, I was reading this book and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. This is great. I can do this. It really does, I don't know, for want of a better word, light a fire up your ass. You know, it really does. It's great.
Well, I'm glad it lit a fire up your ass, you know. That's what it's designed to do, really, you know, honestly. And I am genuinely really proud of it. You know, some people, as you know more than anyone, put out products and it's okay. They're okay, you know, some good, some bad. But I genuinely have put, you know, heart, sweat, love, tears into this project. And as I was telling you before off camera, it was harder than I thought it would be to actually write it, you know. Because I think, oh, I want to include that. Oh, no, I'm done now. It's like looking at your painting as an artist, going, oh, a few more brush strokes there. Don't want to spoil the whole thing, you know. You want to get it to that optimal level where you're really giving great value, I hope. Yeah.
And one of the things that stuck out for me, and we talked about this off camera, but I'd love you to quickly mention it, is there's like case studies in there where you actually show how it's possible to make the sort of fees that you make. And you've got sort of case studies on there that literally break it down step by step. And that's, yeah, again, it's motivational in a way that you can look at it and go, wow, I can do that same thing as well. But you've been so open and so transparent. It's almost like a user guide to be able to do the same thing, which is great.
I think many of us within our industry have talents that we can then implement into the corporate arena in slightly different areas, such as training, using our unique skill sets. So I hope that it really gives a blueprint as to the kind of fees that you can achieve with that. And, you know, I wasn't holding back when I wrote it. I actually gave the fees of one of the latest training jobs that I did, how I presented it with the slides and the breakdown of that money. And, you know, the one thing I tend to take from talking with many magicians is they're not quite aware of what you really can earn from the corporate arena. And often they undersell themselves. So another reason I really wanted to put this out is because we've all been through a hard time with COVID. We're coming now to the end, and we've all got to be match fit. We've got to be match ready. And if this helps raise everyone's fees, which it can, undoubtedly, we're all going to end up better off, every single one of us.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now, I know that there's going to be people watching this that aren't professionals, that have no interest in being professionals. They're not interested in any of the business side of things. They want tricks.
Yeah.
And for those people that are watching this, there's some great tricks in here as well. Like there's 25 routines.
Yeah.
And these are not like pipe dreams. These are workers. This is stuff that you've actually, well, every single routine in here, is it fair to say?
Yeah.
You've had this in your act at one point or another. Yeah. And there's 2 routines in here that you have marketed as separate items, like pre-mental diction, which I reviewed with Ryland a few weeks ago on the review show, which is like $40 or $50 or whatever it may be. You can actually learn that method and make it for a fraction of the cost just from getting this book, which is incredible. And then you've got, and you know, this is going to be a big statement, but I'm going to say it. Your invisible deck routine that doesn't involve an invisible deck, that's also a separate marketed item. That's included in here, and that's killer. I mean, you can imagine doing an invisible deck. But it's not an invisible deck. It's a regular. It's the holy grail for a lot of magicians.
Yeah.
That's in there as well. I mean, wow.
Yeah. I wanted to, like I said, over exceed on expectation, and you provide a lot of information in the portal. You know, I've been ripped off so many times, as I was talking about earlier on, and the only way I could find to protect my material is to give it partly in the book, and then the other part of the jigsaw is in the portal. There's a lot of stuff in that portal.
Can we talk about the portal?
Yeah.
What, just for people who are watching this, you've obviously got a book. This is the book. There's hundreds of pages in this book with tons of routines, tons of essays. What does the portal give you that's not inside this book?
So I'm of the opinion, Craig, that it's really good to learn from a book, because we can then interpret through integration of our personality into that material, rather than watching something and cloning it, because there's such a danger, particularly for the younger generation coming up, of them modeling their personality from the performer on screen, which is incredibly dangerous. Reading the book, interpreting it in our mind, instigates a different kind of learning process in our body and our mind. But I've been ripped off so badly, so many times, I've had enough, right? So the only way I could protect what I believe is truly genuinely valuable information is to put it on a portal, a protected, password encoded website, and which they get with that book. Now, I'll put my neck out here and say the portal itself on its own is worth the ticket price, I believe. There's so much stuff on there. I mean, there is, huge amounts of volume on there. And then you get a perfect balance. You can read it, and then you say, oh, I really wish I could see that slide, or how that Zarro shuffle is done, or the little, whatever it may be, the little subtleties that you can only learn from the visual medium. Well, guess what? Hop onto the portal, learn it that way, and then integrate it. So I wanted to give the best of both worlds.
And you did, and then some, 100%. And I've never really seen that concept before with a book, but it's such a good idea.
If I'm completely honest, I wish there's part of me that wishes I didn't have to do it. There is part of me that wishes it could just be all in the book, but I'm fed up with getting ripped off. Every single project I put out there, 2 weeks later, it's on sale in China for $10. No, I've had enough of it,
I've heard so many other creators say the same thing. Wayne Fox, when I spoke to him on this channel, he was very outspoken about it. So it is an issue, and I think that there's going to be other creators that are going to go down the same route as you with this, because it is a very, very innovative way of dealing with the problem, a real problem that's actually occurring to create.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how I came about. I was on holiday in Vietnam and Cambodia with my wife, and I looked. We were sat having a coffee, and I looked over, and there's a hard drive. They got this bookshelf full of hard drives, and it just said on one of the hard drives, every single Hollywood movie ever released since 1960. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I get it. There's no way anymore of protecting anything. So all you can do is try, right? I mean, even the portal's not foolproof, but, hopefully it puts most people off, nicking it.
That's great. That's awesome. A couple of highlights I want to talk to you about. Your handling of Kennedy's Mystery Box. Now, Kennedy's Mystery Box is something that every close-up performer has done from year one to now. I mean, it's a common prop. You've used it in such a unique way, and the book says that you use this to in your Magic Castle act, and you stormed it with the Magic Castle act. That's just genius. I love your thinking behind that routine. How did that come about? And the reason I ask this is because you've taken a prop that every single magician has done from day one, and you've literally turned the whole thing on its head and made it so much stronger. It's such a really great idea.
Thank you. I mean, first step in any creative process is looking at what you have in front of you and thinking, how can I use this differently? What else can I do with it? Disregarding the normal plot that it's designed to give or to do. So I wanted to use it as a system for multiple outs, basically. That was how I started it. And then to show some skill. And the funny story was, in the Magic Castle, it's pure luck. I can't take any credit for this whatsoever, but I'm doing the thing, and basically, to cut a long story short, what it does is it predicts how many cards you will miss when you toss another card into the deck, basically. That shows you. I couldn't miss when I was doing it, right? And I'm like, I'm performing in the close-up room. I'm like, give me a number, 17. I take whatever it was, King of Diamonds, boom, count them out, 17. I'm like, brilliant. My Kennedy mystery box is all there, ready for my big finish, right? Give me another number, 43. He said, boom, and it was 43. And I literally, to this day, it was just like, I can't take any credit, but it was hilarious. And in the end, I had to say something like, I'm deliberately going to miss this time, just so I could get to my finale. Because it was genuinely funny. But I did get a verbal and written warning, Craig, at the Magic Castle that time, because I had a cocaine gag, which was really funny. And I was shaking the deck, and producing the aces. And then, I shook it and all this white powder fell out. And the line was, well, it is Hollywood after all. And then I used the aces to kind of form lines and then produce a straw. Looking at the audience going, nah. And then I produced a bigger straw, nah. And then I produced this jumbo straw, right? Anyway, they loved it. And but I had to formally apologize, or else they're going to kick me out. It's Hollywood, come on.
That's what I had to say. Good grief, that's hilarious. That's a great line. Oh, that's funny. The other thing I want to talk to you about, I don't want to give too much away. I don't know, I don't even want to say it really, but there's a common gaffed deck that a lot of magicians use. And you've got a couple of routines with that gaff deck. I don't know if I can say it or not, but you've got a couple of routines with that gaff deck that are incredible. And the one in particular, it struck me because it was written in bold at the top of the page. It was like, whatever you do, please do not pass this routine by. You use this and it will get you more work. You will get more gigs. Yeah. And it just, as I was going through the book, it was like, it just like headlights. And I was like, okay, let me read this. And I read it and I was like, oh, that's so clever. I can see how that would absolutely kill. That's something that's going straight into my act. It's brilliant. And it's another example of your very creative thinking where you're taking a prop that everybody uses and you've completely turned it on its head.
Thank you. Yeah, it does work really well. I use it for corporate all the time. And, you know, what I said when we did our proper interview, our full-length interview, is the danger of the ego. We need an ego to be a performer, right? But the ego can work against us in terms of not taking notes because we are the big I am, or overlooking simplicity, right? Because we think, oh no, we're too good for that. You know, the internal monologue. Well, guess what? We're not. And the real world has no idea about a Svengali deck or an invisible deck or a tape. You know, you get occasional people who know a few bits and bobs, but overall, the vast majority have no clue whatsoever. So if you can think, what else can I do with this? And it's basically the most perfect visual triumph routine with the story that you'll ever see. But then there's a kicker. I always love coders. I love kickers. Just when they think it's done, you kick them again.
Yeah.
And you kick them again. And that's how I like to work. You know, my magic is very, you know, machine gun. Bang, 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 bang. And I love the pause. And I love the fact where they don't know where it's going. And then, boom, you get that lovely moment where all the cards turn face up. Then you square them and everyone's focused. And boom. And then the freely thought of card is the only one face down.
It's great. It's killer. Absolutely killer. Before we finish this whole little interview off, let me ask you a question. Somebody who's going to buy this book, and I really encourage everyone to buy this book, what one essay and what one trick should they start with to get an idea of you and your style and what you're trying to put across in this book?
Real magic exists. I can't remember exactly what the title was, but I wrote an essay about real magic existing, and it does. And that explains how and the thought process. And it's psychology, basically, in the mind of the spectator, what we can do to increase the psychological impact, you know, through movement, through wording, specific keywords, specific key phrases that alter their recall of what they've just seen. So by implementing different language patterns and different actions, the simplest example being, you know, I never want to touch the cards. As you've already touched them, you put them down, but they remember, oh yeah, shit, he never even touched the bloody cards. And then it happened, you know. So that would be the essay to start with. In terms of the routine, it would be one, I guess, if you wanted to just dive in there, one with the gimmick deck. You know, I dedicate it to my daughter, Lara, you know, because I think I start now when I present that, you know, I love my kids with all my heart, but never give them new props. You know, this is what happened when you give a deck of cards to an 8-year-old and they look and, you know, they laugh because they're face up, face down, face up, face down. Just name anyone, you know, and then it all happens. So, yeah, that would be how I would start. But I really do encourage people, if they're interested in it, to look beyond the tricks, to look at the real nuggets, which are, let's face it, they're not in the tricks, really. You know, they're in the advice that I've learned just through making many mistakes, if I'm honest, and making an utter fool and an arse out of myself at times, as we all do. But that's how we learn, and that's how we progress. And I wanted to finish by saying I wanted to give a free gift to everyone, Craig, you know, regardless of whether they buy the book or not. Just because I want everyone to get match fit. I want everyone to get ready for this post-COVID season. So if they go to xyabook.com, they will get 101 tips for magicians absolutely free. And that is a genuine product that is on sale today. Whenever you watch this for $9.99, they get it for free.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. So they go to, I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen. What's that URL again?
It's www.xyabook.com, and then a pop-up window will come up after a number of seconds. If they want it, just put your information in and you get a PDF of it.
And that's also where you can buy the book from as well, because it is not available in dealers. It is available directly from you.
Yeah, and I made a real, Murphy's came to me straight away and said they wanted to handle it, and I didn't want to do this. It's a very limited run. There's only 250 of these. I've sold over a third already, and I haven't really bothered pushing it, Craig, until now. And now I do want to get the word out. I do want to let people know the feedback that I've had. It's been so heartwarming and so humbling. I'm really glad that people are enjoying it, because I did want it to be unlike any other magic book ever written. The hybrid, the mix, and just offering some psychology, the real secrets, if you like, the secrets that you really do need to know, but nobody talks about. That's what I wanted to give.
Absolutely. And you managed it in spades. Do you ship worldwide, right? I mean, you will literally, that this book will go anywhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have shipped all over the world. Yeah, so far. Yeah.
Perfect. So, guys, thank you very much, Chris, for jumping on this interview. I really appreciate it. I'm going to take things back into the studio now. I'm going to review the book. I'm even going to try and perform a routine or two out of it. Hopefully, I won't butcher it. I'll try my best. And one more time, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig.
So first of all, thank you to Chris for actually finding the time to go and do that interview with me. I really appreciate it. And I thought it was an amazing interview. It was very fascinating. And here I have the book, XYA. This is the book. And as it says on the back, Broadway Baby, one of the top magicians working the circuit today, 14 royal performances, including a private show for the Queen, United Nations Command Performer, awarded the Medal of Excellence from the US Air Force. And the reviews are in. The critics are unanimous in praise. Chris Dugdale, the General of Magicians, was a smash hit. I mean, this is a great book. Chris really does not just talk the talk, but he walks the walk. And this is a guy who's, as I said, achieved a lot of success over the years. So what makes this book interesting? Well, the first thing is, and I alluded to this in the interview with Chris, but let me kind of break it down for you. There's something in here called the portal. And what the portal is, what you see here isn't just the book, okay? There's a lot of other stuff going on as well. So this is the book, but you've also got this portal that you can access once you've got the book. And you access it by putting in your email address. And there is a ton of information in there. So there's more routines, there's more theory, there's more articles, but also it actually has video performances and breakdowns of a lot of the moves in there. So if you're looking at a trick and it tells you to do a particular move, you go into the portal, there's a very good chance that move is going to be broken down on video, which is good because some people are visual learners, some people are, they learn better from a written what am I trying to say here? They learn better from reading from books. This has got the best of both worlds because it's very well written, very well explained, but as well as that, you've also got the portal, which has got a load of video content as well. So what we have here is a combination of routines, tricks, theory, and anecdotes, I think is the best way to put it. The tricks, I have to tell you right now, are really good. We talked about some of them on the interview. I want to highlight a couple of them for you. I mentioned the mystery box routine, which is it's a really good idea. Basically, what happens with this mystery box routine is you put down the mystery box, a Kennedy mystery box, as a prediction, and then you do this thing where you take this card and you have a spectator pick a card and you say, give me a number from 1 to 52. I'm going to flick it up in the air and I'm going to get it into the deck right next to the number that you say. 15, boom. And you get it right next to 15. And you do it a couple of times and then on the final time you miss. And the spectator counts down to where the card is. And let's say they said 20 and it's in the 25th position and you're off by 5. And then you go, oh gosh, terrible. And then you open up the box that's been there the whole time and it's got a card on it that says that I would be off by 5. Very interesting use of the mystery box. Not a normal use of it at all. And once you understand how he's actually gone to that, you could actually take that concept and apply it to something else other than the mystery box. So you could apply it for Jay Sankey's paperclip, for example. So really nice idea. So a couple of other things that I want to point out to you. He's got this thing called the real invisible deck, which is his way of doing the invisible deck, but with no invisible deck. Here it is. A freely chosen card is found to be the only card face down in a face-up deck of cards. In addition, it's located in the correct position in a fully ordered deck. And the deck is then fully examinable. And there's no hyperbole there. That is absolutely true. You have a deck of cards, you have someone name a card, you take the deck out, you show their card is the only one reversed, you then spread the deck out on the table, it's reversed in the position in the deck where it would be. So you've got new deck order and the card's reversed right there, and everything's examinable immediately. I mean, if that's not a killer, I don't know what it is. That's a great way to open a parlour show. I want to perform a routine for you. I'm going to perform a couple of routines, and I'm going to perform some of the, what I like to think are lesser known tricks from the book, because there's certain tricks that Chris is well known for, certain tricks he's not well known for. So I'm going to perform a trick from the book right now. This is called the Next Generation Book Test. And this is one that since reading the book, I've actually performed a couple of times. And let me read the effect for you. Imagine being able to borrow any book you want, have them say stop at a page, remembering the first word, and then you can have them and you can tell them what the word is. Well, now you can. You can do this impromptu. Like literally, I was around a garden party the other day. I was booked to do a garden party, and I said, "Hey, have you got any books? Go and grab a book. Go and grab a book. I'll show you something amazing with it." And I did this with this book, and it was killer. It was absolutely killer. So I absolutely love this. And the idea that I've got with this, by the way, is to combine it, because what you're doing here is you're using a technique that I've never seen before to be able to force a word in a book that you've never seen in a really interesting impromptu way. You're not holding a break or anything like that. Very interesting impromptu way. It allows you to force a word in a book that you can borrow. So imagine doing like the mental epic one ahead prediction type thing, where you write on pieces of paper and scrunch them up and put them on the table, and you have somebody think of something outlandish and you predict it, and you have somebody else think of something crazy and you predict it. And there's always that weak moment at the end of the routine where you kind of go, right, now pick a card, and you have to force a card. Well, imagine doing that routine, but instead of having the card force at the end, you do this and you say, great, now you lent me this book, think of any word, say stop, boom. I think this would work great in the context of a longer routine like that. So I want to just quickly perform this for you. I've asked Sarah to bring a book down and not let me have it until we actually have the camera start rolling. So let me show you that performance right now. And I have Sarah behind the camera. Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
And I asked you to bring me out of your personal library one of your favourite books of all time. I said, make sure that I don't touch it, I don't do anything with it, make sure I don't have it until we start the cameras rolling. Did you bring that book?
I brought a book, yeah.
Very good. Can you pass it me here? Would that be okay? One of Sarah's favourite books of all time.
Well,
The
any
Chamber
of the
of
Harry
Secrets.
Potters, I just grabbed that one.
Any of the Harry Potters. The Chamber of Secrets is good. Maybe not the best, but it's good. So do you know how many pages there are in the Chamber of Secrets, Sarah? Do you know how many?
No idea.
There's a lot. There's like 250. Okay. Here's what we're going to do, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm going to riffle up the page like this, and what I want you to do is I want you to say stop any way you want to, and wherever you say stop, I want you to have a look at the word on the top line. Okay, can you do that for me? So I'm going to look this way.
Okay.
Do me a favor, just say stop.
Stop.
Okay, can you see the first word on that line right there?
It's a bit lower than there, but yeah, first line, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So the first word. And you could have stopped anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Is the book closed now?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's fair. There's no way I could know what word you were stopped on, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to put that right there. Concentrate on the word, Sarah. Concentrate on the word. I want you to imagine you're in the cinema and you're actually watching the Chamber of Secrets. I want you to imagine that you're watching the Chamber of Secrets and you're watching the opening scenes of the movie and you're watching the very, very beginning part of the movie, and then all of a sudden the screen kind of goes fuzzy. There's a whole bunch of static, and then what happens in its place is the word, and it's written there in neon. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now, what colour is the neon, Sarah?
I don't know.
In your imagination, that neon blue. Okay, that's really interesting. Blue means that this is probably this is an interesting word. This isn't just a descriptive word. This isn't like a verb or a noun or something like this. This is an actual something, isn't it? This is actually a something or a somebody or something like that. Okay, it's not an inanimate object. It's not like Hogwarts or something like that. Concentrate on the word. Think of the first letter. It's a H, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, think of the last letter.
Yep.
It's an E.
Yes.
Think of a letter in the middle of the word.
Okay.
Okay, you changed your mind back and forth a couple of times. You went between an I and an O. Did you end up on the I?
No, I ended up on the
You
O.
ended up on the O, okay. And the whole thing, this is one of the characters in the film, isn't it?
Yes.
It's your favourite character.
One of, yes.
One of your favourite characters. This is Hermione. You saw the word Hermione.
Yeah.
There you go. Was that a yawn right there? Am I boring you?
I was trying not to cough.
You're trying not to go. So isn't that a great trick? Let's go back to the book. I want to bring another couple of highlights in for you as well. If you've got the book, look at page 221. What we have on page 221 is my black hat sales technique. Now, you guys know my background's marketing and sales. I love reading books on marketing and sales. And this is like Chris's sales technique. And it's basically the golden rules of sales from his point of view, how to actually land any client. And he's actually got scripts and he's got written ideas and he's got he's broken it down. I mean, I can't believe he's actually gone this far. He's given away everything. But just a couple of the simple golden rules that he's got. Always exceed their expectations in everything you do. Always deliver your responses to clients early. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. Work a little harder. Give yourself give a little more than they expect. Have a template ready for your email. I mean, the list goes on and on. Incredible value right there if you're into the business of magic or you want to get more gigs. There's so many different anecdotes and things in here that will help you get more work. Let's make no bones about it. It really will. You've also got these flashbacks at the back. And he says here, within the following flashbacks hide messages I believe are the real secrets to being successful in the entertainment business. Find the nuggets for yourself and implement. And he's got flashbacks when he was performing during Hurricane Katrina, which was very interesting. The United Nations and meeting Angelina Jolie, which is a very interesting flashback. Being taken hostage in the Middle East. Let me just read the first sentence. I would never in a million years have expected to be taken hostage in Dubai as a result of card tricks. Well, I'm going to leave it right there. Buy the book. Incredible story. And the list goes on and on and on. So I think the important thing for you to understand is it's not just card tricks. It's not just coin tricks. Yes, there's card tricks, there's coin tricks, there's tricks with loops, there's tricks with thread, there's tricks with elastic bands, there's tricks with coins. I talked in the interview about some of his magic and how strong it is. But it's also about getting more work and how to actually be a successful professional magician. There's one more routine I want to perform for you actually. A little while ago, I looked at Forced Focus by Richard Pinner, which is a great trick. It really is. I love Forced Focus. And there's a trick in there called Mirage. Well, this routine in this book here, Glimmer, it's as good as Mirage. It really is. And it's just hidden in the book as just like an offhanded thing. It's just in the book. It's just like a couple of pages going, oh yeah, try this. And it's incredible. Basically, I'm not going to explain it. An envelope's placed on the table. I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm going to perform it very quickly. I want you to have a look at this because I think this is killer. I think this is really good. Good stuff. So I've got an envelope. Now, I will tell you the envelope doesn't have to be this size. It's just that's the only envelope I could find. But there is something inside there. Something incredible. And I also have this deck of playing cards. 52 playing cards. 52 cards, 52 possibilities. And you're going to pick one of these cards. And how I'm going to do that is in a really fair way. I'm going to riffle the cards up so you can see them.
Yeah.
And as they go past, I want you to look into their riffle and look at a card that you can see. Okay? Can you do that for me? Hang on.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, sometimes when I do that, people look at the face card. You didn't pick the card on the bottom,
No.
did you?
No.
And you didn't pick the card on the top, the 4 of hearts.
No.
So it wasn't the 4 of hearts and it wasn't the 4 of clubs.
No.
Okay. I'm going to show you something amazing with your card. I'm going to snap my fingers. And when I do, something amazing will happen to your card. But in order for this to happen, you've got to tell me the name of your card. So if you could tell me the name of your card.
Ace of clubs.
Done. And you could have picked any card, right?
Yeah.
I just made that Ace of clubs disappear out that deck.
How?
Seriously, look, let me show you. There's a 2 of clubs. So I'm going to go through each individual card one at a time. And I will show you, there's an Ace of spades. I will show you that your Ace of clubs, Ace of diamonds, your Ace of clubs has completely and totally disappeared. And you had a free choice of any card. In fact, if you were here, Sarah, and you were on this side of the camera, you could actually deal these cards yourself. In fact, if you wanted to, you could count the cards as you dealt them onto the table, and you could see that every single card is here, except for one card and one card only, the card you picked, the Ace of Clubs. So your card is gone, because the question then is, where does it go? Well, the thing is, the card was never in the deck from the first place. The whole thing was in your imagination. How confident were you, Sarah, that you saw the Ace of Clubs?
No, it was definitely there.
No, you only thought it was there. Because you see, I said at the very, very beginning that I've got this envelope, and I put this envelope on the table from the very, very beginning, and if I tear it open, because that builds up the dramatic tension, and I reach inside this envelope, you'll see that there is only one thing. There you go, inside this envelope, and one thing only, which is a card. Not just any card, but your card, the Ace of Clubs.
Oh, what?
Proof that you didn't actually see that card in the deck.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Hypnotised you.
I did.
Didn't.
It was there.
No, it wasn't. So isn't that a great trick? I'm definitely going to be including that in my act. Look, I'm sitting here waxing lyrical about this book. And you know I'm the sort of person that if I don't like something, I say I don't like it. If I don't like something, I say I don't like it. Even if I like the person, even if I like their material, I have to be completely honest. Look at Henry Evans. I got a bit of flack because I did an honest trailer for Henry Evans for his new trick, the oil and water boxes. But that's because I believe that the oil and water boxes isn't very good. And despite the fact that I've done a 5x5 on Henry Evans, and despite the fact that I perform a lot of his material, and I think he's an awesome guy, for me, oil and water boxes, which is a very expensive trick, it just wasn't worth it, and that's why I gave it a bad review. That's why I did an honest trailer on it. It's important that you guys understand that, because I'm sitting here thinking, oh my god, I'm waxing lyrical about this, and I want to think of some rubbish stuff to say about it. I want to go, oh, I can't believe he's included this in the book. It's rubbish. And yeah, I could pick on some stuff. There's some routines at the end of the book that are have illustrations that aren't particularly great. They're hand drawn, and they're not great in terms of the way that they're drawn compared to the stuff at the beginning of the book, which is photographed really, really nicely. Yeah, but then you've got the portal where there's videos that go through those moves, so that's not really anything of an issue. I could talk about how there's not that many stage routines and it's mainly close-up routines, but I don't think that's a problem. I could talk about how there's not enough material on how to get gigs, but there is. I mean, it's 260 pages, and probably at least 100 of those pages is information on how to be a better magician that's got nothing to do with tricks. But then there's 25 tricks that are absolutely great. There's not really any filler there. I want to say something negative about it, because I feel like I'm becoming a Chris Dugdale fanboy after reading this book, but I have to be completely honest. I think this book is great. I think that if you like performing close-up magic, then the routines in this book, you're going to get something out of 100%. But if you want to be a professional magician, or you want to become the best professional magician that you can be, or you want to make more money out of being a professional magician, or you want to build a really successful business as a close-up magician, then this is a book that you absolutely should have in your library, because the information in here is gold dust, and I cannot believe that Chris has actually given it all away. So it's getting 100% from me. I think it's great. It's going to be pride of place in my collection. There's so many routines in there that I'm going to include in my act. But also, I'm going to go through and I'm going to read all of the stuff on how to actually run a successful business. Because, let's be honest, Chris has done it. This is a guy that's performed for the Queen. He's performed all over the world. I mean, if, I can't learn from him, who can I learn from? So yeah, it gets 100%. It's absolutely incredible. It is available directly from Chris. I think the website, well, I'll put the website down below. I'm not really too sure of everything. I think it's xyabook.com or something, but I will be having it at the bottom of the screen and also in the description. I advise you to take it out. Chris ships worldwide. And also don't forget that even if you don't want the book, go to the website, because Chris also had that fantastic offer where he's going to give everyone a download for free just for signing up for his mailing list, because he wants to give something back to everybody. He's a really nice guy. It gets 100%. It's definitely well worth buying. And that's all I've got to say about that. So there you go. I want to know what you think now. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you seen this book? It seems to have flown under everybody's radar. I cannot find one person who's bought this, but it is great. So let me know down below if you've bought it or if you're planning on buying it. Let me know what you think. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, do me a favour, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back on Monday with a 5x5 at 9 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a Magic Live. At 2 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a Magic Shorts. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.